have an idea of your invention, then you may go for provisional specification. And after that, the Patent Act provides you with 12 months of time, from which you may process your invention so smoothly that you can further go for complete specification. The filing of complete specification is necessary in the patent law, right? Then after filing of your application, you may be receiving it. You may be filing it. You may be after 18 months. Your invention will be published. But we are having an expedite provision in the Patent Act, which has been just mentioned under the act, that we have received an expedite provision. That in such provision you have an expedite route, wherein many of the clients have granted their patents in just 10 or 11 months. This expedite route involves the request for publication, request for expedite examination. In that, after the publication of 18 months, you may file the request for examination. That takes the 48 months of time. And after the examination of your patent invention or application, you'll be receiving an examination report from the patent office. And for that, compliance of that report will be involving some objections in it. And compliance of that objection provides you with a 6 months of time. And after the compliance of the report, the patent office, if finds that your invention is up to the mark, and then they'll be issuing you a hearing or direct a grant certificate. And if not, they'll be issuing a hearing for which the second time the applicant or inventor will be getting the chance to describe his invention more specifically to the controller and examiners of the patent office. So, and after that, you will be receiving your certificate of the invention, right? This is the wholesome process of the patent, granting of a patent. Then I'll be further linking the IPR, which is the bridge between industry and academia. In this, there are several types of income generation activities in universities. As Mr. Chabaria said, that income generation in universities is to be focused upon. Therein the parallel degree programs, it is of specifically two types. That is, one is parallel degree programs and another is the non-teaching income generating activities. Firstly, the parallel degree programs is all about that you'll be finding it a new term in your context, but the parallel degree program is all about that that if there are many students who are not about to come to colleges and all, so you have a separate classes organized for them, and the students there, which are self-sponsored, they can have their classes in the weekends or in the evenings also. And to cope up their education with the regular students, the universities are finding it more smooth, as in this era of time. Then this teaching is the core business of universities, this contexting in the parallel degree programs. Now I'll be focusing on non-teaching income generating activities, which is for 4 types, that is production units, service units, business units, and consultancy, research and development. This is about production units. Production unit is about that which provides the facilities with the manpower, which is like in the colleges we have several sectors, like the welding and fabrication works in the Department of Production Engineering and all, and the furniture production in the wood science and technology of many universities. This is all about the production units. Then comes the service units. Service units is about the providing of the services in the universities. That is the library, catering services, health departments, and several extra services like providing of guest houses and hotels and some libraries in the universities for the generation of income, basically. Then the third is the business unit. Business unit is has been developed or converted to run independently with full cost recovery of the sector. which is basically a profit generation sector. It means if you plan for a pharmacy store or pharmacy unit in your university, then you have a bookshop, you have a guest house in your university. This all things come under the business units. Then comes the last and least sector, that is the consultancy, research and development sector. That is all about technology transfer, commercialization of research findings and inventions, the provision of patent information services, and business incubation. This sector is somewhat less developed in our era, as in it has not been also found very much in our sector. But yeah, it has been listed and it is also known to us. So I have included in it. Now I'll be focusing on the startups, which is also a part of topic of my presentation. What is all about startup? I'll be specifically providing you with some points. That is, startup is a company that's in the initial stage of the business, right? What is startup is just I'm mentioning some points with you. And then until the business gets off the ground, a startup is often financed by its founders and may attempt to attract outside investment. The word investment is very important for startups. The many funding sources for startups include family, friends, venture capitalists, crowdfunding, and loans. These are some key sectors from where the startups can provide their loans and all. Then the startups must also be considered where they'll be doing their business and providing their legal structure, right? And then what is a startup? This slide specifically provides a specific definition of startup. If you are looking for what is a startup, this definition will be helping you a lot. While entrepreneurship refers to all new businesses, including self-employment, and businesses that never intend to become registered startups, refer to new businesses that intend to grow large beyond the solo founder, right? Now, I feel that when we are talking of startups, startup guru, which has been known as Steve Blank, he is the man who is also a Silicon Valley entrepreneur based in California. Blank is also an adjunct professor at the Stanford University. Steve Blank says, greatest risk is not development of new product, but development of customers and markets. Many years, investors treated startups as small businesses. This was a real problem because there is a huge conceptual and organizational difference between a startup, small businesses, and large corporations. So for a startup founder, this concept means the basically involves three main functions. That is providing of a vision. To start a startup, you need a vision inside you with some set of characteristics. Then you need to create a series of sceneries of the business models, that how come you can help your customers, distributors, and how can you arrange the finance of companies. To start a startup, you obviously you need to have a finance. Without finance, nothing is possible, right? Then to understand whether the model is the right one based on customers' behavior as your model predicts, right? So there are several types of startups. Here in it, there are corporate startups, lifestyle startups, charitable foundations, small startups, viable, high potential, scalable, foreign investments. These are some 8 type of startups. I'll be later on discussing with you later on. Firstly, I would present you with a video of a Steve Blank, wherein he's discussing small businesses versus startup. I guess this will be more helpful to you.
Question is, what's a startup? my parents were immigrants to the United States, and for decades, their goal was to open up a grocery store on the Lower East Side of New York. Now, I grew up thinking my parents were the starter, and that they were entrepreneurs. And in fact, in hindsight, they were. Turns out small business entrepreneurship is still the mainstay of commerce in the United States. Outside of technology, Silicon Valley, the words entrepreneurship and startup means small business. When we talk about Silicon Valley entrepreneurship, that's what I call scalable startup. We shorten it here to say startup. But truly, we do something different than small businesses, even though we use the same word. The classic one that software engineering programmers talk about all the time is 37 signals. Right? They all say, but I'll contend, with all due respect to those very smart guys, is they certainly didn't start as a scalable startup. In fact, they have all the characteristics of starting out as a small business. In Silicon Valley, when we say small business, we say it with a sneer. Kind of like a jargon. Well, it's a lifestyle business. Real men don't do lifestyle businesses. That's bullshit. Lifestyle businesses or small businesses are done by normal people. We're the people who are insane. Those people actually have lives. And what I think we do here is that founders wake up every morning saying, I don't just want to be self-employed. I want to take over the universe. I want to change the world. I want to do something important. This is the most exciting thing I could ever do. This, I'm going to take over the universe, I think is the first major distinction between scalable startups and technology clustering small business.
I guess you got some points about the startups from Steve Blank. Now I'll be elaborating different startups which I have mentioned earlier. First is the lifestyle startups. These lifestyle startups are something that the professionals do as a freelancing work. They are not the people who regularly go for an office and all. They just provide a coding and all, which the IT sectors is linked about, and the web designers and all. So this lifestyle startup is all about this type of people. Then the second one is the small business startup. Now, small business startup, which the Steve Blank mentioned, is like small businesses are small stores, any hairdressers, bakers, travel agents, this type of small businesses, which the people do in the day-to-day life to feed their family and to take their necessary cost of that. Now, small businesses entrepreneurship is not designed to scale up, right? Now, the third one is the scalable startups. The scalable startups are not designed to be are designed to be a big one, like as I mentioned in my slide, the Google, Uber, Facebook, this kind of startups. As in, you'll be aware about the stories of all of this four big companies. Like they have started from a very initial stage where they just had an idea that what should we do to make the life of people easy in the market. Like Uber, which is we didn't have a concept of taxi riding in Ahmedabad specifically. We didn't have this kind of taxis in here. So after getting of Uber, we received many taxis, and it is very free to go, that we just need to log in the Uber app, and we can easily move from one place to another wherever we are in search of. So the scalable startup is all about this. Then is the viable startups. Now, what is viable startups? That is something like you have a mobile app or an Android app in your phone. That is a coder or a web designer or a personal connected to it. They don't need a recognition in the market. They just are concerned with the money involved in it. There means the finance involved in it. They are not in the search of name in it. So they just sell their product, their application or their codes are in it. So they sell it in the market to just provide them to just satisfy with their financial needs, right? Then is the large company startups. Now, what is large company startups? I mean, this large company startups have a finite life duration. Now, what is finite life duration? They this to establish a big company, you need a big finance, right? And to have a finance, you are as basically, if you need to incorporate a larger company, you need to have a big idea in your mind. That is not necessary that you need to have a big idea. Even a small idea can also link to a bigger companies. It is not like that you are in search of it. But if you need to establish a bigger companies, you have to, as I mentioned earlier, you need to have a business model in it. That how come my customers will be more or less satisfied with this needs or anything. So if you have a basic new technologies, if in search of large companies, then you will be having many competitors and all to establish this firm. So in that the larger companies also needs to create new innovative products for the new customers to satisfy their needs in the market. Like I'll be providing with an example of Google and Android. You are very much aware about it. So this large company startups are all about this. Then is the high potential. Now, what is high potential is like this involves the startup which is more or less like a bigger sector startup. That is, their growth is far more rapid. That is, after 5 to 10 years, the startup will be employing around 500 employees. That is, I guess, that is more like a bigger companies. If you have a 500 employees, you are not considered to be a very small company with, I guess, 20 to 30 million dollars in revenues. This type of startups are also known as gazelles and are most important for the economic development of an area, right? Then I'll be moving firstly with the charitable startup. Like multiple charitable startups, these startups are about the financing which they receive from the funding models and effective software solutions. If you receive some charity from any organization or any sector of it, then you will be very more linked to the charitable startup. Now, what is foreign investment startups? It is, I guess, from the name itself, it is very much known that a non-resident Indian or person of Indian origin resident, which is outside India but is investing here in the India, so he can be considered as a foreign investment startups. Means that account will be maintained with authorized dealers or the banks connected to it. Yeah. Now the topic is how can intellectual property enhance the market values? Now the market values, if you have your IPR in your hand, your IP right in your hand, then how come you can enhance your market value? Now, to enhance the market value, you will be needing the generation of an income through the licensing. If you provide your invention with a license, you give it to someone and provide it with a license, you can commercialize your invention, even to get to receive some kind of royalty from it, then enhance the value and worth of company. Then is the event of a sale, merger or acquisition. IP assets may significantly raise the value of your company. These are basically the 3 points that how come you can enhance your market values regarding to the patented invention. Then is the benefits of startups. What benefits the startups have received from the government and also from the IP Indian Patent Office. Now, the government of India has provided the concept of startup or a startup scheme on, I guess, January 16th. Yeah, January 16, 2016. Our PM has introduced this concept of startup, wherein 80% of the fees have been rebated on the filing of patent by the government. Means you can get a subsidy of your patent if you are if you are under the terms of startups. This Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion, on the behalf of startups, arranges the cost and provides rebate in the statutory fees for filing of the applications, patent applications specifically. Now, the Patent Office has also welcomed the concept of startups, as in on the January 16th, the PM has introduced this scheme, and the IPO has welcomed it with the growing hands, that they have included or incorporated the term of startup in the Indian Patent Act, wherein they have specifically mentioned the term startup with specific conditions in it under the Rule 2FB, and which specifically involves the several sections under it. You can just visualize under my slide. Yeah, and in November 2020, another amendment has been incorporated, which is like if you are a startup or a small entity, you just need the fees have been changed, wherein the startups and the small entity have to pay the fees of a natural person, which is a very less amount of fees, means just to encourage the startups, just to encourage the inventions and innovations made by the inventors and applicant. So just for the encouragement of them, this amendment has been made, and I guess this is very much needful to build the economy of India. So, as in our PM is more initiated to economy and the sectors like IPR. Yeah. Now I'll be dealing with the stories of high fly entrepreneur. Means this is in concern with the success stories of the startup companies. Yeah. There is Dr. Reddy's Pharmaceutical Company. This involves Dr. Reddy's, I guess, being a pharmacist and in the field of pharmacy, as the participants are all about. They'll be very much aware about Dr. Reddy's. As in Dr. Reddy's firm was established with a very minute budget, that is $40,000 US dollars in cash, $1,20,000 US dollars in bank loan, and a single product they were owing it, Dr. Anji Reddy, who started a generic pharmaceutical company in 1984. And now, as of you all of know, that they are the industrial leaders in the sector of pharmacy. They have filed an international, they have also filed a first international patent in 1995, and also in 2004, DRF has filed an international patent application under the terms of Patent Cooperation Treaty system for Balaglitazone. And by 2010,